ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure that you like and subscribe and smash that notification. I hate saying that stuff, but they make me do it right at the beginning.
Subscribe here.
Yeah.
What I always want him to do is like point here and then have Brandon put it over here. So
well, that's always the thing, too, is they're like, click the notification right here, but the button's actually down over here because they're always changing where it's at. Nevertheless, thank you so much for joining in with us. We've got some fun conversation ahead of us. Full disclosure, right off the bat. Whenever we sit down to do these podcasts, Aaron, we always like to kind of warm our voices up and just have a little bit of a conversation.
Yep.
And so we've been doing that for the last 5 or so minutes, and the conversation like started to be so funny and so good. And like already off the bat, we were like, "All right, everybody, shut up. We got to start rolling."
Man, we're setting high expectations for this. You better be hilarious, Sean. No.
Wait until the very end. I promise. Watch the whole thing. Now we're super excited for today's guest. And we're going to have a great time. First of all, Aaron, it's been a while since we've been in here.
It has. But fortunately, we got Brandon in. Everything's rolling along good, and hopefully we can start getting these back out.
Yeah, and we try to normally stay neutral on date and time, but I'm going to go ahead and give everyone a sneak peek since I've got my my festive Starbucks cup here. We're near Christmas.
Yeah, I got my red cup as well.
Yeah.
So listen, I dressed in Christmas.
Yeah, you got your
And
green
you got a
shirt
red
on.
cup with the green
orange,
shirt.
Green.
Yeah.
I'll show you my socks later.
That's awesome.
Make my underwear.
So, man, this year has flown by, though.
I can't believe it. Like somebody told me the other day, they're like, "Oh, Christmas is 26 days away or whatever," and I was just like, "That was today." Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my God, I've done nothing." Nothing.
For us, I think for this year has been so different is we were able to sponsor some families. We've never done that.
Oh, that's
We've never
cool.
been able to do that before. And like my brokerage, Daniels Real Estate, was able to sponsor 2 families off the charts that, really we kind of found. And then my board, Amy Mokas with Berkshire Hathaway, handles the south side of my board. And she said, "Hey, we got another family. Would you want to take that one?" And she had no idea we've already sponsored 2. I was like, "Yeah, we'll take them directly." So feels good.
Yeah.
No,
it feels
that's
good.
awesome.
Like
that's one of our favorite things.
I want to talk more about that, too, here in a minute. But before we get too far, let me give a proper introduction. We've got Sean Daniels in here with us. I don't know if you can do the hand clap sound or not over there, Mr. Producer.
Right on cue.
Exactly. But no, we're super excited to have you. Real estate mogul, businessman extraordinaire here in the Indianapolis area. Thanks so much for taking some time to come and talk to us.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me. I really do.
Yeah. And this is one of those things that it's just a great partnership. We often talk about the importance of partnership in business, especially with our business and especially with realtors and brokers and things like that, and how we help each other and how the relationship really just works hand in glove. But this is just another way that we can support each other and all of that. So why don't you give us a little bit of your background, where you come from? I typically invite our guests to start at about the 4 years old mark, earliest childhood memory, and then under the next 7 hours, we'll just unpack.
It's also therapy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So east side Indianapolis, I used to walk to Heather Hills Elementary. We lived in a neighborhood that was booming back in the day, when my parents first moved over there, and then it started digressing a little bit, and they ended up moving to the Cumberland area, and I went to Mount Vernon after that. Graduated there, played football there, had a lot of great memories and friends, had a good coach. From there, I was working at Discount Tire, met a really good mentor named Kenny Boyson. Kenny Boyson, man, you talk about somebody that works hard, plays hard. He's retiring next year, and I want to be at his retirement. But this dude's a legend in my mind. But from there, my buddy went to go work for the dealership world, started making double what we were making at the tire place.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, let's do that. So I became a service consultant. Within the first 3 to 4 months, won a trip on Howard Hugler's yacht. Didn't even know it, And
Oh, wow.
Just from the good customer service and taking care of my clients the way they're supposed to be taken care of. But
So you're on the service side?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's what
That's an interesting world, too.
Oh,
I have
totally.
some friends in that space.
You talk about dealing with different personalities on a daily basis. I dealt with about 300 to 350 clients before I became a manager a day. I was a high producing service consultant, as in, I would take care of maybe 20 people, not a day. I was 300, 350 a month.
Okay, I was 20, I was like,
that's
holy smokes.
Yeah, that's a lot. But it really helped mold me into who I was. I was going to night school at the same time too, at Kelly School of Business, so I was learning a little bit about business. I was, a service consultant. And when you pull in, you got those little podiums, right?
Yep.
And that's kind of like, to me, I treated it like my own business.
Yeah.
They're 100% on commission. Most people don't realize that. And, I remember the first day at Hubler Chevrolet, I'm sitting there and there's a line of cars out there, right? And like, they're not opening the doors yet, like they're waiting. Like, everybody's just sitting there waiting, staring at these people.
Nope, it's not 6 o'clock
yeah,
yet.
Yeah,
that's silly.
And if you know anything about Disneyland, Mickey Mouse is there. First thing, he opens up early. There's always a line, right? So like after about a month of getting settled in, learning how to use a computer, learning how to print out my appointments and everybody's appointments, I'd start going out there and like with my little card, figuring out who's
walking
there for
through
who.
the line.
Yeah. And then if they didn't have an appointment, it's like, all right, here's my tag. I'll have you all written up. I wrote all our stuff down. And of course, you talk about work hard, play hard. People don't like that.
Yeah,
they don't like that, man. You're making them look bad. I won that trip. I didn't even know I won that trip. I beat out like this husband-wife team that won it every year.
Oh my gosh!
And
so I had a
salty,
dude. You talk about a target on your back. I was like, I was 20. I didn't know any better. I was just doing what I was taught to do from Discount Tire. And then even when I'd answer the phone, I answer the phone different than anybody else. Discount Tire, when they answer the phone, like, this is Discount Tire, Sean. They're real peppy, right?
Yeah.
But I'm dwelling on that. But from there. 20 years in the automotive industry, met some really amazing people within the industry and outside the industry. Marksman Construction right across the street here.
Yeah.
Really good friends with them. Helped them with some houses since I've left that industry. Got into the management role while I was still there. Got to the point I got kind of stagnant. I was like, man, I'm topped out. I'm not going to really grow from here. And my wife became a nurse, and she was a nurse now for probably about 4 or 5 years at that point. And I was like, I'm done. I'm like, I got to find something else to do. And she said, well, go be a real estate agent. You always wanted to. And a friend of ours at the time was an agent, and she was doing good, and you get inspired.
Around what year was this?
It was about 6 years ago.
Okay.
About 6 years ago. So I went, I did the 90 hours, knocked it out. I procrastinated for a year doing that. And I should not have done that. And then I went to go take the 4-hour test. After the 6th time crying in my car, I finally passed it the 10th time.
Is
right?
that for real?
For real.
I think that's pretty
real.
common, like in the real estate world. I don't know anybody that's passed it, at least both sides the first time.
Yeah.
I know Whitney took it 5 or 6 times too.
Most people won't admit it.
Yeah.
They won't admit it. Most people who pass it right off the bat, they don't make it in the industry because it's hard when you get in the industry. Like, it's your own business. You're a 1099 person. You're hanging your license with an agency, a broker, but they're 90% of them, I'd say, aren't there to help you. Like, they just want you to figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
And
sink or swim, bring me some money.
Yeah, very much sink or swim. So I didn't sink. I had a lot of good background in customer service, and I was watching other people that were doing this job better than me that I've never done before. And I started working my social media, and it just kept growing. And, I went from selling 9 houses the first year in 4 months while I was still working full time, to 17 houses the second year while I was still working full time, 44 houses the third year while still working full time. Wow. That's a full-time agent. I mean, normal agents average about 4.3 houses a year.
Really?
A busy agent might do, I'd say, in my opinion, 12 to 20. So 44 my third year, right?
What do you think the key to your instant success was? Do you think it was social media and you just being, sharing the information and letting people know what you're doing, or what do you think it was?
So the crazy thing is, like, I didn't really start pumping social media till like the 4th year because I was still working full time.
Right.
I didn't want my company thinking I was pulling away from there, and I was still doing very well at the company. At that point, I had transitioned into selling commercial air compressors to manufacturers.
Okay.
And that was a fun job. Like, I got to go into places like Allison's, and your mom and pops that are trying to grow, and either fix their problems, do air audits, or completely like ground up, figure out how much air they need. And I told my wife, I was like, you know what? I don't care if I make half of what I made in the old job I did. I need something else to do, and to get away from the dealership business. Not that, it's a bad business. I just was burnt.
Yeah.
And as we kept growing with the real estate, we kept paying our bills, off, cars, her tuition. Then we got to the point to pay the house off. I quit my other job. And then, I was busier than ever at that point, right? Because the third year, 44 houses. And then the 4th year was like 80, 81. which was like 23 million. I was like, man. In that year, I did like 9 houses. Or I'm sorry, what I did 44. I did I can't remember how many 44 houses, 9 million. My goal was to do another like 9 or 10 the next year, and then I freaking just killed it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
But I did it. Back to your question, I would say just having that background and those relationships I built through the automotive industry, and in being intentional, as I helped people out with their cars, when your car's broke, things like that, you're intentional and you care. And I'd give some people my cell phone number. Marksman, I would drop my truck off, pick their vehicle up.
So you think it's a lot of relationships?
Oh, 100%.
And then I would also assume that treating those relationships well.
Yes.
Answering the phone, following up on things that you say that you're going to do. That's the biggest thing. It's like when I first got in this, I was so confused. When I first got into roofing, everybody was like, "Oh, you're the 4th roofer I've called, and you're the only one that's called me back."
That's crazy.
Like, or you're the only one that's answered the phone, and I'm like,
I hear that in my business.
It's insane.
I hear that in my business.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, I mean, that just goes to show, like, just following through on your word, doing what you say you're going to do, treating people well, how far that'll get you.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think the big thing too, like, not to center in on like, oh, was it a marketing strategy or even was it the relationships? Like, the thing that I see in this conversation and that I see in most of the conversations that we get to have with guests is you just freaking work harder than everyone else. And that's the part that I think everybody's missing out on. Even that great event yesterday that we all got to be at together and was a lot of fun. But everyone's always looking, and trust me, when I go to a conference or something like that, I'm looking for 1 or 2 golden nuggets that I can take back and like really blossom in and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like anymore, and it's just that instant gratification kind of culture that we live in. Like, everyone's just looking for, just give me one silver bullet that's going to make me a millionaire.
Yeah.
When really it was, no, the one thing that you did was work freaking hard.
Yeah.
And it's just like you, right? Like, yeah, it was because of the Facebook marketing and all that kind of stuff. But really what it was is you chose to work harder than all the other roofing companies that were in business at that point in time. And then, on and on. I think we don't talk about that enough. That's our title is work hard, play harder. But like, just when I say that, like, just in today's culture, we don't talk about the hard work that it takes.
I think there's a time and a place, right? Like, when you're first starting a business, like, you're taking on a lot, especially if you're working another job, right?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of time to play harder. When we first started this, I was working 16 hours a day doing literally everything from payroll to marketing to the sales to everything all the way through. And there's not a lot of time to do that. And so sometimes you have to buckle down and build your business. And then when you get to a point where, hey, you know what? I can back off a little bit, hire some people to do payroll. I can hire some people, to do collections and these different things, or billing's probably the better word. Then you can start, enjoying a little bit more of your time. But, as you did, selling 44 houses with a full-time job, I bet you didn't sleep a whole lot, let alone play a whole lot that year.
No, like the sacrifices, I was just going to ask, like for you guys, I'd like to hear your sacrifices. Like for me, I got to put the kids on the bus. There were some things I got to do once I transitioned to a different job. But, there was times that, we would go camping, and my wife and I both drive separate. And if I got a call to go show a house, I'm showing a house, or I'm there at the camper and I'm working on my computer. You hear a lot of people talk about their realtor friend that, is on vacation and they got their computer out. It's like, our business doesn't stop. Our pipeline doesn't stop. It's a whole different kind of business. It's not like we're 9 to 5. And I think a lot of people who get that entrepreneur bug and they think, then they're working a normal job and they try to go to that. They don't realize they're going to put more time in,
right,
until you get to the point you might be able to hire those administrative people.
Yeah.
And like for me now, I have 18, 19 agents. I got 2 or 3 of them that are amazing when it comes to, hey, can you go show a house? $50. Boom, they'll go show the house. They're presentable when they show up. They're knowledgeable. They're happy to just get the $50. They're really good to the clients. I didn't have that starting off. I didn't have that with my other brokerages where we had that camaraderie.
And I'll tell you what, that's one of the reasons. So my wife's realtor, she joined Sean's brokerage. That's how we initially started getting linked up. And that's one of the reasons she joined, is because you had a lot of tools to help her. And then also she doesn't want to work 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
We do things with the kids and we travel. And so she has somebody there to help her and support her when she's out of town. And that's a huge thing. So just so you know, that's probably the number one reason that she came over, besides obviously, we went to dinner and, we got along. And obviously you want to work with people that you can get along with. So.
Oh, yeah. Getting to know not just the agent, but the agent's family, because they got to have the support from their family. Just like your guys' jobs.
Right.
Like if you don't have the support from your family with what you're doing, the likelihood of you being successful is going to be really slim, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Or it's going to end your family.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to pick one or the other, which is sad. But just going back to friendships when it comes to that point, when we were making those sacrifices, we didn't play euchre with our friends anymore during the week. We weren't also drinking with our friends anymore during the week, right?
Yeah.
And it's, it's funny you hear that thing, like, not that I don't drink anymore, but like the people who stop drinking, they're like, you really learn who your friends are. Like, no, you don't. Like, they're still your friends. Like, they're just, they drink and you don't drink. They play cards, you don't play cards. I hunt. Just because my friends don't go hunting with me doesn't mean they're not my friends.
Right.
It's just a different mindset at that point. And some stay your friends, and some might be like, oh, he's too good for us now. He's bettering himself, and you
That's
have that.
the part that sucks.
You have it.
We
Yeah.
have that too. Yeah, we same thing. It's like, no, we're just trying to focus. I think you really have to be willing to live and work like no one will today, so you can live and work like no one can tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And that's a phrase that I keep in my mind on a regular basis. But I think you also got to kind of keep that stuff in balance too, which is. You got to. I think you have to kind of start with the end in mind. Like how long can you buckle down for? I'm not talking about for years and years and years. Avoiding or not avoiding, but even just not even being available for your kids and their things. Their games and recitals and all that kind of stuff. Like it does take balance, but that's what you got to pick, right? Like, do I want to go to my kid's euchre game or my kid's baseball game, or go play euchre with my friends? And then that's like kind of where we had to kind of make some decisions too. And like, we got to buckle down. Work's going to be there, and we're going to get this thing going and off the ground and all that kind of stuff.
Do your kids play euchre?
My kids don't.
They should.
Euchre sucks, by the way.
I forgot he sucks at euchre.
I can't suck at something that I can't even tell you one rule. And I went.
Well,
to,
if you can't comprehend it, it's okay.
Listen,
here's the thing.
It's okay.
Listen, Linda.
No, hold on a second. If he's never played
told me
chess before,
slow.
and he played chess with somebody and they destroyed him, he would
Yeah.
suck at chess.
Yeah.
Right? No,
I've never played.
suck.
Here's the
I
thing.
love chess too.
Yeah.
We get some chess out.
Aaron and Derek invited me over. We're going to teach you how to play.
Sabotage.
No, we're going to teach you how to play euchre. In the first 5 minutes, him and Derek are about fist fighting over the proper way to do whatever. And I was just like,
Me and Derek are very competitive.
Whose ever house it is, that's
we'll be
the proper
back
way.
over here.
Nah, I don't go with that because we're at Derek's house. I don't subscribe to that rule.
It was awesome. I still don't know how to play euchre. Thanks, Derek and Aaron.
Yeah. Well, we got sidetracked. I don't even think we finished the second game. We just started.
Yeah, because you guys suck at
Trash
giving
talking to each other.
explanations.
Anyway.
Oh, that was funny. Yeah, so here you are 6 years later after this, after some sacrifice and all that kind of stuff. You got, what'd you say? How many agents now?
I got 18 to 19. I know I got at least 18. I think I might have 19.
Yeah.
Forgive me.
Hey,
We grew exponentially like this year.
Yeah, don't feel too bad about it. Like there's things that I forget all the time. I forget how many kids I have sometimes. I forget their names. So like the fact that you're not sure on 18 or 19, we'll let it slide.
It's okay. I remember all their names. I can count them out. Anyways, so I don't recruit. I'm not a recruiting brokerage.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against recruiting brokerages, but I do feel like when you're recruiting agents like that and you're recruiting them, I think maybe for different reasons, like monthly fees. So you can have a building and support that building, and you might have agents with paying these monthly fees for a year or two, and they may not be selling anything on their own, and there are other jobs supporting that. I don't want that. I don't want to eat to get fat. I want a healthy brokerage. I want a brokerage where everybody communicates with each other. I was at a brokerage prior to this, the 150 people. Maybe 6 of us produced like a good enough number to where we could all provide money for ourselves and be on our own.
Yeah.
And the other ones didn't really do a whole lot. And I like the hands-on part of it. I don't like modules. Like, hey, go learn from this module and you'll be fine. I've had agents come from other brokerages that started off like that, and then they meet me and I kind of go over like, let's do this one-on-one once a week. And I'm not going to call you once a week. You need to be calling me, setting this up, because you need to be hungry enough to learn.
Yeah.
Right? My time's important. Your time's important. But you need to be setting it up. Let's get together. But I can't keep track of 18, 19 people, right?
Right.
I can, but I can't be like on them all the time. Like
right.
They have to be responsible for
That's
themselves.
micromanaging, and I have zero desire.
I'm not going to micromanage. Yeah. If you're failing, I had one agent one time, amazing guy. I'm not going to mention his name. And he got into the business, young man. And after about 3 months, he comes to my open house. I invited him to experience an open house. He goes, man, when do you think I'm going to start making money? And I said, I'm about to Gary V you right now. And if y'all don't know who Gary V is, you should follow him. And I said, you tell me when you're going to start making money. And I said the exact same thing. I said that Gary V thing. I go, you used to be a police officer, and you had roll call. We were supposed to go take donuts at that roll call. You said that those people were all still friends with you. Did we do that? Nope. You graduated like 64 people. You were a student editor. I told you to contact every one of your people from high school, your teachers, everybody, your coaches you may not have been coached by. Did you do that? No. Well, dude, you're a secret agent. Yeah. Nobody knows you're a real estate agent. And I think, and I do get upset. Like, I'm not upset with him. I'm upset with the fact of his ability, what he could do, because I've seen what he can do.
The guy sucks when you want it for someone more than they want it for themselves.
That's the worst.
It pisses you off. Yeah. And Goggins said it talking with Rogan one time. He said, man, you ever just get mad, and you're not really mad at the person. You're mad because you might become that person.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's like, maybe you get mad because you might become that person if you hang around with them too long. And you just want them to keep growing. And like just one person in your company, and he wasn't poisoned or nothing like that. But just having those 150 agents at the other company, and only some of them are producing. I bet some of them are down there like, man, I'll never do that. I'll never do that.
I guarantee they said that.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
But the ones that are trying to talk to those people, that are trying to learn from them, like, hey, let's get coffee, they're going to get there. But they got to want to do it. Work hard, play hard. They got to want to do it.
Right.
You can't teach got to want.
Yeah.
You can't teach that. You can't teach consistency. I texted my team yesterday, said, hey, everybody, go ahead and share. We have a really awesome group text, by the way. Like, Facebook group sucks. Yeah. People don't communicate on Facebook groups.
Right.
A group text,
yep.
Man, they're back and forth. They're helping each other. I love it. And then I'll give them some tasks every now and then. And I'm like, okay, somebody send me a video, like your last video you posted online, time and date. How many people you think did that? How many people you think text back within 24 hours?
0.
No, well, we had few.
3. Oh, really?
We had 3 to 4. 3 to 4 within 3 to 4 hours. And social media, like I preach social media as soon as they get on board, right?
Yeah.
I show them what I do. I tell them what they need to do. There was a realtor not long ago that just started in the industry in another state, and there was a story about him, and within a year he made over $100,000, and how he did it was he went to all the model homes, right? You first start off, you don't have anything to show off. You don't have any cool houses. Yeah, you do. You got model homes out there with builders. Go meet the builders. Go talk to them. They're people. Joiner Homes. I've created an amazing relationship with Tom Joyner. He has me listing some of his homes. I did that over time, and I brought them clients, and I reached out to them, and I did a video of their model homes, and I posted it for them, helped them get more exposure for free.
Yeah. That brings up another point too, is like,
I'm getting off topic here.
No,
we can't be all real estate. That's my world.
No. There is
real
no
estate.
topic here, and if your world's real estate, we're talking about real estate.
Well, and here's what we do, because we are so skilled as podcast hosts. Because I'd like to take this moment to relate the realtor world to the real world. No, I'm just teasing. But in
like
fairness,
MTV Real World?
Deep thoughts.
MTV.
We're not going there.
That segue was about to be so awesome.
Yeah.
It was going to be so awesome. I forgot. No. Refresh my memory here a little bit. We'll edit this stuff out.
No edits. Let it roll.
Where do we go from, though? Doing stuff for free.
Yeah.
That's another thing. That's a part of working hard, right? There's just sometimes when you got to be like, I'm not going to get paid for this, but it's going to help me in the long run.
How many roofs have you been on that you didn't get paid for?
A lot.
A lot. Well, that's
I mean, that's just part
More
of
than
it.
50%.
It's part of it.
Here's the thing. There's a million people in every industry that will happily take the work that you want to give them. How many of those people provide you value and bring something to you? So working for free and providing value to somebody else is important because people aren't always willing to do that, but it's part of the deal. And if you genuinely want to help people, you genuinely want to provide them value, most of the time it's going to come around because they see like, hey, I'd rather work with this guy that's willing to do some stuff for me than this other guy that's just got his hand out going, gimme, gimme, gimme.
Oh,
gimme,
yeah,
gimme.
yeah. A good example of that is, people call expired listings, or they call FSBOs, which is for sell by owner houses. Well, on FSBOs, here's a free nugget for any realtor that's listening that will do it, but you won't.
1%.
1% maybe is, okay, you see that FSBO, you message them, like, hey, man, beautiful house. Do you mind if I take some of those pictures offline, edit them a little bit for you, make a cool video out of it? You know how many times I've done that and I've gotten the business? A bunch. There's one I haven't gotten yet. I'm still working on them. It's a lake house.
That's really cool.
But I'll just take the video. The pictures are already up there.
Yeah.
So,
It's like edit a band like music and some other
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Or I'll change the colors because they might be phone
scheme,
pictures or whatever. But instead of calling and being like every other agent, like, oh, let me list
Let
your
me
house.
give it a go.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, great listing. I hope you sell it on your own. But if not, I'll say, hey, do you mind if I create you something to help you sell it? And then sometimes I might even go out there, depending on the listing, and do a drone, flyby or something. And then I get to meet them, right? I'm doing something for free. I get to be in front of them. If you get in front of somebody, you're more likely to close them.
Yeah, they got a face with the name, and there's a connection there now.
Well, they also see the sincerity.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, can you hear people's sincerity on the phone? You can, but you can't see it.
To an extent.
Right.
So videos are important too.
Well, and it just goes back to, okay, you do that for that client. Maybe they even stick with their own for sale by owner thing. But they're still going to be telling all their friends, like, man, this was the coolest guy ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're lying.
What if their kid needs to buy a house? They can't go help their kid find a house.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's the long game. It's the big picture.
It's the relationships.
Arnold said it best, man. Arnold Schwarzenegger's got this new book out called what the hell is it called?
Insert here, Brandon. Anyway, move along.
It's Be useful. Be useful.
Oh, never mind. He's got
Stop it. Quotation.
He was taking
Be
notes.
useful. I got this. So Schwarzenegger has a new book out called Be Useful, and he talks about the camera lens, and he talks about coming over from his small country to the United States, and how the United States attracted him, and he talks about what you fall in love with, and so many people, the camera lens is so zoomed in on what they think they want to do, instead of having a broad camera lens. And then I guarantee you, when guys got into roofing, like when I got into what I got into, I didn't know where I was going to go with it.
Yeah,
I was like, man, I just want to get out of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right. I want to start doing something else. If I can make half of what I was making before, we can still live comfortably.
That's hilarious that you said that. And I've said this in plenty of podcasts before. Like, I was in something and it just wasn't for me. Nothing wrong with it. It just wasn't. I'd done it for 16 years. It's not
you were
what I wanted
burnt
to do. And I was like, you know what? If I can just make X number of dollars, you know what I mean? Less than half, actually, of what I was making, and maintain a decent lifestyle, like, I'll be good. And then the love for it ended up, propelling it to do really well. But the point is, you've said it 2 times now, and I have to point out that I've said that many a time. Like, I just want to be happy.
That's it.
Yeah.
And like, you guys have blown this business up in a short amount of time. And I guarantee there's other companies out there like, man, how'd they do that? How'd they do that? And that's kind of where I took off. I was like, man, my camera lens was like this. Cause I was like, I just want to just do it. Just what you just talked about. And then as I started just getting better at my craft and that camera lens just kept going smaller and smaller. And I was focused, laser focus on just lighting it up, man. Like, being the #1 realtor in my area, the best at my craft, and that now, I mean, I can proudly say I'm ranked like 52 out of 12,000 give or take agents in Indiana. That's my numbers, not my team numbers. A lot of brokerages make their team put their number on their contracts and their listings, so they all get credit. Like, I don't do that. All my agents, they get their own credit. I get my own credit. Our agency's in the top 200 right now, and we're a small boutique brokerage.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
You know what I like about you yesterday? And we were at a marketing event together, and we were talking about Google listings, and there was another realtor up there that worked for a different brokerage, and he didn't have his own Google listing. And you, as a broker, yelled across the room to this dude and was like, you need your own Google listing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you need that because, like, you got to promote yourself. You got to work on yourself. And I agree that everybody should do that. And so the fact that you did that, I was like, that's pretty cool of him because, like, most people want to, like, hoard everything.
Oh, yeah.
Just like you're saying with some of these people wanting to pack all the numbers into one. So that's really cool. By the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
I
I mean,
just wanted to let you know I noticed that.
It's and he's a good agent. The guy works hard. I know that
Yes.
agent, and he's not getting any credit for those Google reviews. The only people getting credit for those Google reviews is his brokerage.
He needs to build his brand as well.
Oh, totally. And that's where, like, it's another thing on one of my steps. I'm like, you guys need to get your own business, Google business page. And guess what? Like, a majority of mine, like over 90% of them are my clients, but your friends, your family, past clients and other jobs, anybody can share on there about your personality and who you are. Those are still legitimate, real Google reviews. Because yeah, you might be great at real estate, but man, if your mom's on there too, like giving you a Google, like my son, I'm so proud of him. There's somebody else's mom getting ready to buy a house.
Yeah,
man, his mom's on
relatable.
there.
You remember, you remember the old Eddie T Transmissions commercials?
Yeah. My son's such a nice boy.
Such a nice boy. But that was that was the commercial for years.
Yeah.
But, you know, and if you look at it from a different way, so most people get their information from Google, right?
Oh, yeah.
From Google Maps, from the GBP, Google Business Profile Location. So if you have, say, 19 agents, you got your listing and they all have them, that's 20 profiles that they could come across that could directly bring back to Daniel's Real Estate. It helps them along the way, but it also brings in more business for the entire company as well. So not wanting people to do that is almost shooting yourself in the foot, I would say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I would say something that I'm terrible at, like we're all terrible at something. We hate something like in our jobs. And it's the back end, like the CRM stuff I do on my own. I should have just a separate Daniel's Real Estate Google. And I should be like, all right, hey, get your own Google, but I also want to see if I can get them to give me one too for my branding.
Right.
Because right now it's just Sean Daniels.
Yeah.
It's just my own Google.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it is Daniel's Real Estate, but it says my name on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, get branch. You know, your agents can be branches for you.
Yeah. Yeah,
and then it shows you on the maps even closer, right? Because if he's got his agents sprinkled out throughout the place,
that's a good idea.
That is true.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So now you're closer. You have a higher probability of being the closest realtor to that person.
Absolutely.
If they do, we'll have to think about this because if they link back to the website, we'll do. Yeah.
They just have to put your brokerage at the end of their name, so it would be like Sean Daniels dash and then his brokerage.
DRE. Yeah. So he was a G&B master before he came here. So
What's a G&B master?
Google My Business or,
really?
or Google Business Profile or Google Maps or
I need you
whatever
to
they've
look at
called it
mine.
over the years. So this guy was.
I need to switch my email.
He's an absolute monster.
impossible?
So he's saying,
Like, it's not? Because
Do it before you leave here.
really? Because the email it's on there is from my old brokerage I came from.
"Yeah, we got you, bro."
All
So
right,
we forgot to
all
tell you,
right, all
with
right.
every podcast comes a free GBP update.
I just asked
Yes.
for it. If you don't
Yeah.
ask for it, you don't get.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I could have left here and not said a word.
Closed mouths don't get fed, right?
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely.
I just wish more people were engaging in that panel yesterday. That panel was amazing.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
so we
fun.
got to just so everyone catch everyone up because we've referenced it a couple times. We got to go to a marketing panel that Aaron participated in, and it was interesting. So we had, of course, Aaron who knows a lot about Google and small business marketing. And there was a videographer there that does a lot with like videography, social media, and that kind of stuff. Then there was
social media guru.
another guy that was
James.
social media guru. He's actually coming on with us here in a couple
Jeremy
weeks.
Miller.
Jeremy
Was
Miller.
that Jerry? Yeah, Jeremy.
Jeremy Miller.
Yeah.
Then Hardwick was the photographer.
Ethan,
was the-
Ethan was
Ethan.
a photographer guy. Then we had Justin Hart, which is kind of like a overall marketing guy.
I couldn't
kinda
find him on
like a
Facebook.
jack. I don't think
I was
he's
gonna
on
tag
Facebook.
him. He's not
I don't
on
think he's on Facebook. Maybe LinkedIn.
It's too cool.
No, actually, they sent out a recorded version of that today to my email for anybody that registered. So if anybody does want to watch it, what was it, about 2 hours?
Yeah, but I think you could realistically get an hour of it, and you're going to get it because there was about
Yeah,
a
you could,
little less than an hour of Q&A. But
Yeah, and then we had like a little small lunch break and stuff, so you could skip through some parts. But if anybody wants that, drop it in the comments, and we'll send you the link out. It's a YouTube link, so.
yeah. I love that kind of stuff because it's a room full of what we're talking about, people that are willing to work harder than themselves than they do at their job and really learn how to perfect their craft.
Well, it's people that want to go, hey, how do I do this? How do I get better? How do I improve? Not like, oh, when am I going to start making money? Or, what's going wrong? I don't know. It's poor me. So it's like, dude, you got to do these things, man. You got to. I continually go to different things. Now I'm actually on. So if you would have told me 8 to 10 years ago I was going to be on a marketing panel as SME, a subject matter expert, I would have been like, okay, bud. But now I've put myself into this craft to learn it for my own business, and now I get to share that with other people. And it's just taking the time, man. I mean, I've basically been going to business college for the last, 10 years or whatever, trying to learn these different things. So,
yeah, good stuff.
But here's the thing too, like the downtime, like you guys have a slow time, right? Real estate has a slow time.
Yeah.
Like that's when you start like diving deep in that stuff.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. I've heard agents like, oh yeah, I always take this time off. I remember one, like the next April, the following April was like, I don't have any business. And I'm like, yeah, because you just stop doing everything. What do you think? Like people forget you're a realtor when you do that.
You stop pumping, the pipeline dies.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Have you, speaking of pipeline, and this would be really good for you, have you ever heard of Jeb Blunt?
I've heard of the name, yes.
There's a great book that he has.
I have a copy. I'll give it to him.
We've got some extra copies. We'll get you one.
Yeah.
It's called Fanatical Prospecting. Talks a lot about this kind of stuff. You and your team, I think, would really enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. Have you 7 Levels of Communication is another good one.
All right.
Really good one. I like 7 Levels of Communication. It talks about not buying billboards, and getting in front of people and working your sphere a little more, being more intentful.
Yeah.
Is that a word, intentful?
Full of intent.
It is now.
I just made some shit up.
Hey, look at that. We're innovators.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're not making shit up. We're
Put
innovators.
Hey, I can put whatever I want in the dictionary these days.
Yeah, exactly. Add it.
But no, it talks about going to the same place for lunch, like once a week maybe. Then when you have a client, you meet them there. You already know the waitresses. They know you by name.
That's genius.
But now you're meeting somebody brand new you've never seen, and the waitresses are like interacting with you, like, hey, how's the family doing? I don't know. It feels good too.
Yeah.
Right. Because I always tip my waitresses really well. I worked at freaking Applebee's and stuff when I was younger, and they worked their butts off. But man, they will make you look like the mayor of the town.
That is, getting in on that a little bit. Like that's the most important thing for me. There's a lot of great restaurants in Indianapolis, a lot of high-end places and all that kind of stuff. And we try to get out and around a little bit. We do things a little bit different than like even how I was raised. Like I'm intentionally bringing my kids to higher end place because I want them to get used to like that steak tastes way better than Outback.
Yeah. Cool.
You're going to need a good living to provide that. You know what I mean? And so that's just kind of subliminally what I'm trying to get them to grasp onto. But nevertheless, that's what separates the great places from the okay places is absolutely the people that are working there. And again, I'm not talking about food. I'm talking about, I don't care what industry you're in. It is the people that make your business.
They say that you don't remember what people have done for you. It's how you make them feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How I felt after I left, right?
Exactly.
How did we feel before the Colts game after we left?
Yeah.
I won't name the place, but we kind of felt like, it's like a mediocre brunch we had. And then my wife and I go to Geraldine's. I will mention them. Last night, and man, like
they're killing it.
What we got there was like, wow. And I sent them a picture, like this is what it should look like.
This is way better than Sunday.
I said it with some more words. But that's it. But they did handle it well at the place we were at. They did a good job, but it just wasn't that
There's
level.
a difference though between this is good. Like so, Harry and Izzy's.
Yeah.
We were there not long ago.
Yep.
The waitress did okay, and we laughed and all that kind of stuff, and it was okay, right? But this is probably the only time we're ever going to talk about that experience.
Right, you got like a
there,
7.
Right? But, man, when you got that person that's going to give you an 11.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
your food could be screwed up.
Yeah.
And you're still like, you feel bad for them at that point.
Like,
right.
Crap.
You know what I mean?
I got to complain to these people. I gotta tell them, yeah.
Seriously, I remember like when my wife got together and we didn't have a ton of money. We were both working hard. And Shula's was our place. Shula's not even open anymore. But I remember the one thing I really loved about Shula's is when you got up to go to the bathroom, you'd come back and they'd already have your napkin folded over your chair.
Yeah.
I still remember that. It's been years since we've been there, but
there's this one place we were taking our kids to on a regular basis, and it was because the general manager, for whatever reason, we ended up he came to our table, saw that we came twice, memorized our names, my kids' names and everything. And so anytime we went out, it was like, oh, we want to go there. And then unfortunately that manager left, and we've been back like twice. And now it's like, I don't even ever want to go back there. So,
isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's funny before Facebook and like knowing everybody's birthdays and all this stuff. For instance, Marksman, he came in one day. This was years ago, and he's like, "Yeah, it's our anniversary night." We just start talking. He just like didn't openly just say, "Yeah, it's my anniversary night." But he dropped his truck off, and he said, "Yeah, we got our anniversary night. Probably pick it up tomorrow." I was like, "Cool." Guess what I did? I put that in my phone on my calendar.
Yeah.
And every year I wished him a happy anniversary before Facebook was out.
Yeah.
And I remember the first year he's like, "How do you remember that?" I go, "Well, last time you were here last year, you mentioned it was your anniversary, so I put it in my phone." Intent.
When that
Right? It felt good that. I don't know. It just felt good.
Well, then Napoleon Hill talked about that. Who was the original person that did that? Like J.P. Morgan, maybe, or somebody that he would have somebody who would write down all of their information, like back in the day.
Yeah.
And then he would see them, and this is like when they're taking, like like way back in the day, like computers don't exist, like nothing exists.
So well, back then they had like the Rolodex.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
And they write down probably notes
I think
in there.
this was before Rolodexes.
Oh, they're chiseling this shit?
I think they just have like a little
books.
booklet or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
Room full of mahogany.
I think it's like the 7 Habits of the Napoleon Hill. I'm gonna.
Yeah, Seven
Just
Habits
put
of
it-
Highly Effective People.
There you go. Thank you.
There you go.
All right, ignore all this. But yeah, he would write it down. That was the biggest thing about it. He would run into somebody after 2 years and be like, "How's your wife?"
That's Stephen Covey too, isn't it?
Was it?
7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I think. Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway,
But it takes intent and time and want to
That's
do
something
that.
I need to. That's something I need to be better at. There are some things that I can remember that, like, I'll remember some obscure stuff typically, but getting better at like being intentional to make people feel good.
Did you start off with "I want" when you said that?
God, it's Stephen Covey. I hate you so much right now.
Did you start off with "I want"? This is something I need to do.
I will.
That's
That's
it right there, isn't it? If you say you want to do
that?
something, that's just some guy at the gym. I was talking to him, and I
Yeah.
said some shit like that, and he goes, "No, you can't say that. You're
Yeah.
going to do it."
Well, and we talk
So
about
anytime
that.
I hear it now,
No, I love it because that's exactly what we talk about, how we do goal setting and all that as well. Is it's not like, oh, I wish I could. It's no, this
Yeah.
I will be or I will achieve X. So good.
nobody ever
I
wanted
appreciate
it
the
and won.
coaching.
Nobody ever wanted it won.
Yeah,
I want to do that. Yeah, I'm going to win. You think that guy's going to win? No.
Yeah, you know what? That's true because I say that to people all the time. They're like, "Yeah, I'll try it." I'm like, "Oh, okay, you already failed."
Oh yeah.
I'll
yeah.
try it.
It's like a word. Like,
No, I'm gonna do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead.
I was just going to ask if we can go back real quickly to me being right about the author of that book. I feel like we breezed over that a little bit quick.
Brandon, I'm gonna need all of this.
We got to bring
edited.
Euchre. We got to bring Euchre up again.
Hey,
Euchre.
don't say anything clever here because Brandon's gonna edit all of this stuff out.
It's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right?
Yeah, he already looked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already googled it.
He already
Yeah.
knows he's wrong.
Yeah,
So
I already know
since
I'm
we're
wrong.
talking about books,
Let's put a tally
what's
up.
Napoleon Hill, right? What I mixed that up with?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
What? No,
I've yet to finish that.
that's Robert.
Oh, yeah.
It's a.
You're right.
I don't want
Is
to
it
say.
the Think and Grow Rich?
Think and
Think and
Grow
Grow
Rich.
And I think that's actually in the book. It is. I just had the title wrong of it. But
It could be.
I need Robert's last name now because I don't want to leave that one hanging.
So Grit's a good book for your team.
Oh, yeah, we've done that.
Angela Duckworth.
Yep.
Another
I got
one
to
I
meet
really
her.
like is the Energy Bus.
Yep.
He
John Gordon was
Yeah.
a mentor of mine for a little while.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
No, I know him. Yeah.
The Energy Bus, I use that a lot. And I've said this before, I think, with Aaron. Goggins, I've read his second book. Excuse me. And he talks about a buddy of his that comes over the house. And every time he comes over, it's like negative about this dude's life. Like,
Kiyosaki.
and he records it the last time he came over. And he said, "Hey, man, I got to stop you right now. I want you to listen to this." He goes, "Every time you leave here, like you take all my energy. Like you come in here, you talk about
energy
your drive,
vampire.
your drive to work, you hate your family, like all this stuff. Like, man, if you're taking my energy like that, I can't imagine what you're like when you by the time you get home. Like you can't have no energy."
Isn't it funny how there are some people around that like it's work to be around them?
Oh, totally. I was sitting at
know some people like
sitting at the restaurant, with my daughter eating lunch, and this gal sits down behind us, and we don't eavesdrop, but man, we live like somebody's talking.
Sometimes
like,
you can't
You're
help
gonna
it.
hear some shit, and like the whole time she's just like negative. I just feel sorry for the lady behind me. And I just want to turn around and said, "You need to read this book," but I didn't. I wanted to. My daughter was there, but I was like, I felt bad for her.
Well, there's I was reading through the stuff, and there's like only, and I have somebody like that in my family, but there's only so much mental energy that you have to give per day, and I've talked about this a lot.
Ooh.
And when somebody is draining it, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you get home, you get off work and you're like, oh, I'm so exhausted. But like, you didn't do anything physically. It's fine because you only have so much mental energy. And when somebody's draining all of that, you don't have anything left. Like, you're wore out, just like you worked out for 10 hours. You know,
I've gotten better at saying no.
I have to.
No, I've gotten better at saying. I had somebody yesterday right after the panel. I go downstairs and they're like, "Hey, you know, I got this stuff for some of your agents." I'm like, "You need to give it to them." Like, I'm not going to I'm not going to go find these agents and give this to them.
Right.
You need to go. This is your job. You need to go give that to them.
Yeah.
Like, this is my stuff. Here's my money. Other agents order stuff. You need to go. Like, I don't have time. And I would catch myself trying to be a people pleaser and be like, "Oh yeah, I'll do that." And then like later on, that person messaged me like, "Hey, I just felt like, you know, something wrong." Like, no, nothing's wrong. Like, I don't want to do your job. I'm like, you go do that, and I'll go do my stuff, and we're cool.
That's something that's so key that I feel like people miss out on a lot is the word no. Steve Jobs said that he's as proud of the things that he said no to as the things that he said yes to. Actually, specifically, he said, I'm as proud as the great ideas we said no to at Apple as I am of the great ideas we said yes to. And so you got to be willing to say yes, even to say no to even some good things from time to time, because you only have so much time.
Oh yeah,
in a day.
And I'm sure you guys are getting blown up all the time by vendors and all these people. And if you're like me, like, you get certain people and you build those relationships, and yeah, somebody might save you a buck here, a buck there, but it's always those shiny things. And lenders do that a lot too in my industry, like lenders. And then like once they get you going, and like you kind of stop hearing from them.
Yeah.
You know, like, to me, a good lender is every quarter they're following up. Hey, what's your team doing? What can I help out with? Are we going to do an event? You know, I want to get in front of them.
That goes back to full circle to how do I bring you value instead of give me.
And that's give me. That's what I feel like time and time again, and it sucks. It's finding that person that cares more about your business than you do. That's the one. Just like when I sell people houses and I'm working with my agents, I care more about their what they're doing. Then what are you guys laughing at? What's going on?
My wife.
His wife's out here cackling in the window.
Ain't nothing happened here.
No, I wasn't looking at your nose.
We got to get one way film on this.
I saw a little ginger head pop over in the mirror here.
Gingers unite.
Yeah.
No, man, you're exactly right. Hey, let me switch gears on us here a little bit.
Let's go.
Let's talk about this play harder side. Thank you, by the way. I'm sure you're going to mention some of this at least. You brought some awesome deer sausage in for us to try before we jumped in the studio.
Was delicious. I'll tell you what, go ahead and give a plug to whoever did that, because that was amazing. Juicy. It wasn't the dry stuff that you normally like. That was perfect.
Yeah, so
I can't remember their name right now.
Oh, so anyway,
we'll come back to that.
Hey, no, this is where we go. It's right here.
I want to say Blotcher, but that's not it. That's a town down there. I'll think of it. I'll think of it.
All right. So, what kind of things do you like to do on the play harder side of things?
So we love to go camping and boating. My wife and I individually would like to find really cute and quiet bed and breakfast places.
Oh yeah,
that are in good locations.
Where have you gone that you really enjoyed?
So there's two places that are our favorite. One was our favorite. It's no longer around. The first one was Gootlisville. It's a cool A-frame house. And
where is that at?
Gootlisville is just outside of Nashville. It's like a $20 Uber ride to Nashville.
Oh, okay.
But this place was somewhere like Steven Tyler would stay at and write, or Nashville shot an actual show there, like the series. And the people were awesome. The two people there.
So to clarify real quick, are we talking about Nashville, Tennessee, or Nashville, Indiana?
Nashville, Tennessee.
So you were in Nashville and then took a 20-minute Uber ride from Nashville to this place.
We would stay at the place.
And Uber.
And then Uber to Nashville. Okay.
Yeah.
It's near Franklin, out of curiosity. Franklin, Tennessee?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But
Why don't you know?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Can we get somebody in here that can answer my question?
Wait a minute.
Like
Rewind.
geography questions.
Rewind. Barrett's processing. Deer processing. That's
Barrett's?
Barrett's
Okay.
deer pro-
Yeah.
Shout
My
out.
mind's working like my phone.
Still go
right
ahead and
now.
pop that in there so I don't look like an idiot going like this.
Yeah, Barrett's. Anyways, so our new place is Riverside Inn in Warsaw, Kentucky, right off the Ohio River.
Okay.
Like right off the Ohio River. And it's our second time going there was this year. And it's an old mansion that they've added on to. They have weddings there and all kinds of cool stuff. And the rooms are super nice, like freaking 12, 15-foot ceilings.
That's cool.
And it's close to some distilleries. But we really, we go there, like we'll invite a couple every now and then to go, and like we'll play euchre and get a good bottle of bourbon.
I'm out.
Yeah, you're out.
I thought maybe I get an invite,
Well,
but no, I'm
no,
out.
look, hold on. You can just like.
Oh,
keep
you
the
guys gonna
score.
teach me how
you
to play?
You can keep the score for us.
Yeah, we can have. They got plenty of rooms. We can have more couples, but it's just recharging our batteries.
Yeah.
And we love our kids. Our kids are older.
How old are your kids?
18 and 12.
Okay.
But like we're to the point now where it's like we don't feel real guilty if we do like a couples trip.
Yeah.
Or like it's just us two, because you gotta do that. You got.
I don't feel guilty.
We intentionally
I don't
do it.
feel guilty now doing that.
Yeah.
And I got a 6-year-old and 9-year-old, but like we do a lot with them. And
Yeah.
they're very.
We're
they're
intentional
they're
about it.
energy vampires. Yeah. but not.
No, they're
Not in a
not.
negative way. Not in a negative way. They're just like all over you all the time. And so like we need to go do some stuff too, because we gotta be healthy. The marriage has to be healthy.
I got some advice from a mentor before I even got married, and then of course during kind of the marriage process and all of that. And really what he told me was, look, you've got to make sure to take time. And we got married 20 years ago almost now, and so it's even different in today's world. I feel like everyone is like, you're a bad parent if you don't have your kid in 7 different sports, and all they do is sleep 3 hours a day and go to school and play sport. Like you're a bad parent if you do that. By the way, put your comments below. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm not. You're a bad parent. Anyways,
The kid's not being a kid.
The kid's not being a kid. Anyways,
We're about to get wrecked.
I can't wait.
Man, when I played sports, but none of that crap was out.
No,
I feel bad for him, but we can dive deep into this.
Now,
we don't do that.
let's glaze over this one.
But so the advice was just like, you got to take time for yourselves as a married couple, even with kids, because what happens, you see a lot of people get divorced after the kids grow up and move out, because
They don't
you're
have
like,
anything in
who's this person that I happen to share a house with? You don't even know each other anymore. And so we've been intentional for as long as we could, at least to have a date night, if not be able to go out onto some trips alone and all that.
Actually, I like it because when we do stuff, and we do weekend trips and things like that, but they stay with my dad, their grandpa. They stay with
gives them
my
an opportunity.
sister, their aunt.
Yeah.
They're with family.
They're
people that
building
love
their
them.
social skills.
They're excited to go over to grandpa's house or Annie's house. That's what they call my sister Annie. So and they're building social skills with different groups of people. They're experiencing different foods and different activities than we do. So like we go out quite a bit. Like we go probably 3 or 4 weekends a year. And they go out to my dad's or my sister's or something.
Oh, yeah.
So
well, any more now at the age our kids are at,
yeah.
they don't want to. They just want to stay at home. It's weird. Like we got to
Yeah.
force them to do some things every now and then.
Yeah, we're the same way. I got a
Yeah.
16-year-old and a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old.
My 18-year-old at like 16, she goes, "I'm just not a vacationer, Dad." I go, "What?"
Do you ever like your kids say shit and then you're like, "How the fuck are you my kid?"
Yeah.
Like I'm so confused.
They don't need a vacation from anything yet.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not a vacationer.
Yeah. Give it a few years.
Who the freak says that?
That's fine.
I'm not a vacationer.
So my wife and I just started doing some bed and breakfasts 2 years ago. So we've been
Seriously?
twice now.
You gonna check this one out then?
I want to check that one
Riverside
out.
Inn.
We went to up in South Haven, Michigan, a place called the Carriage House. It's a lovely place. We actually go in the wintertime,
Okay.
and so there's not a lot of people out
Michigan
there.
in the wintertime.
It's fun.
Is there snowmobiling?
We just go there typically for 1 or 2 nights. There's a nice little town, great places to grab some food and everything, see the snow. There's a lot of antique shops. We like doing antique shops and things like that together. And but the first time we actually went with my parents and my sister and her husband, and Andrea and I was like I'd never been to a bed and breakfast, and the only like frame of reference I had was a King of Queens episode where like there was a shared bathroom, or no, I think it was an Everybody Loves Raymond episode where there's like a shared bathroom in this bed and breakfast that they went to, and like Raymond walks in on like this old woman taking a bath, or no, she walks in on him and like starts giving him a bath. I'm like, I don't know about bed and breakfast, but it was actually pretty cool. We had our own bathroom.
Yeah, they have they're nice.
Let's be honest. That's why he went. He's like, oh, I want some old lady to come get me a bath.
Hey, yeah, sponge bath. Now we're on to you. She could probably teach up a euchre too.
So camping, you got a camper, you said?
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
you got it permanently parked somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, we keep it down at Hardy Lake.
Destination trailer, I believe they call those.
Yeah, we used to tow this other camper around all the time, and over time I was like, man, I'm over this, and I found this permanent spot, and like we're going to put the camper here.
Whereabouts is the permanent spot?
Hour and 15 minutes south of here, exit 34A on Hardy Lake. Lakeside Campground is the private side of it. Man, for $350, you got a boat slip.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, so
how big is the lake?
It's a blast. About 700 acres, so you can.
That's pretty decent.
You can ski. You can wakeboard.
It's not too far off the exit then.
No,
maybe 15 minutes or something.
No, you're talking
10 minutes.
Hour. Yeah, it's hour. It's a straight shot. Like you get to 256, you go to 3, and then Blake Road is the road it's all.
Gotcha.
On. And everybody there are hardworking people.
Yeah,
they're business owners.
Yeah,
you know, they're all hardworking people there to relax and kind of enjoy getting away from recharge their batteries.
Yeah.
And when we're there and the signal's not real great, we did buy like a
Isn't that perfect?
That's good sometimes.
It is good. No, it's really good. And obviously I still got connection because I got to take care of my clients. But I feel like I'm gone for a week. Like we go out there and float on the boat. Like we're not driving around the whole time. Like we go out there, we tie up everybody, we just kind of float and chill and listen to music, and I don't know, man. It's surreal to me. Yeah. And then at night, the stars there versus here in the city.
Oh,
isn't it crazy?
Oh, it's ungodly. It's beautiful.
Or godly, depending on how you.
Yeah.
I guess it'd be more godly.
Yeah.
Not ungodly.
Yeah.
But you quit messing
Very
with
good point, sir.
Messing with my words.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's so our property's down there off 46, and I'll tell you what, going back to the stars and the godly stars here.
Yeah.
Like it is absolutely amazing. Did you happen to be out at that property for about a month and a half, 2 months ago? They had the meteor shower.
No.
We sat up in the top field, and you just sat there, and it started at like 10 o'clock at night and went to like 4 a.m. Obviously, I didn't stay up till 4 a.m. Or 5 a.m. or whatever it was, but I stayed for like 2 hours, and man, they were just coming through. About every probably 5-6 minutes, you'd see a good one.
Yeah.
And it was really gnarly, and that's not anything that you could see up here.
Isn't it crazy that some of the most beautiful things are the things that will take our world out?
Yeah, right.
I'm getting dark. That's the ungodliness.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Back.
But seriously,
It'd be cool till then.
But that was beautiful.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. We love being out in the outdoors and all that too. It's and I especially like being in a place that you kind of like have to work to get signal. Like I like down there right now. We're kind of getting signal down in the valley, but you have to like drive to the top of the hill to get signal.
That's how we are. Like on the lake, signal.
Yeah.
Go down the boat ramp, signal. At our camper, it's hit and miss.
Yeah.
At night, nothing. Driving in the golf cart.
So you went hunting? What was that like last weekend? What'd you get?
When I went and hunted the property. So I am a trophy hunter. Aaron's trying to make fun of me because I didn't shoot a yearling.
So you didn't bring?
Because he didn't
bring any sausage.
I didn't bring any summer sausage because I have awesome friends and partners like you, Sean.
Man.
Thank you so much for bringing that in.
Did you try boiling those antlers? They still taste like shit.
No, I'm just harassing you. Sorry about that.
Yeah. I think it's about time to wrap this podcast. It actually is.
You don't have it. You don't. Yeah.
No, I didn't get one yet, but there's still time.
You got plenty.
That's what I said.
There's still time.
We can go Saturday morning.
Late rut too.
Yeah. It didn't kind of got a little bit of a warm spell down there, and so that impacts the rut for those of you who may not know. Yeah. Anyways, let's bring this thing to a close here. Now, in all seriousness, Sean, thanks so much for coming and chatting with us. This was an easy conversation to have. I looked up. We didn't even have that much time to get into the play harder stuff because we such a great conversation. Yeah. But, hey, thank you again for tuning in. Is it tuning in? What is it, Brandon? What do people do?
What
it's not really. Are you tuning? It's
just kind of like checking in.
Just check. Thanks for checking in with us. No cap.
No cap. Sean, how do people get a hold of you if they want to reach out to you?
Oh, good plug.
You can call me at 317-371-0060. You can also email me at Sean, S-E-A-N, at danielsrealestate.com. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Snitter Chitter.
Snitter Chitter.
Pretty much any.
Or Google under Sean Daniels.
TikTok, Google.
Yeah,
Got my first TikTok client a couple days ago. That's pretty cool. Even though somebody told me that's too old to be on TikTok.
We'll throw a link in for you too. We'll throw a link in for you too.
If Zig Ziglar can do it, anybody can do it.
Oh, yeah.
Hey guys, thanks again so much. Make sure that you do like and subscribe. Hit that notification so you know when you got a new podcast coming up. And tell your friends about this program. Thank you so much. Aaron, always fun.
Yeah.
You want to close us out?
I think you do a pretty good job, but let's just say thanks, like and subscribe, all that stuff that he said, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Check you later.
Check you later.